Hi, we're live streaming on YouTube. I'm Pam Fox at pamfox.org, and today is my final video of my 5 favorite recipes that I make in the Vitamix. And today I'm doing my favorite breakfast, which is banana pancakes with, hopefully, mango sauce. All right, so I've got my griddle right here. It's even hot because I'm going to make these pancakes. So let's get this batter going really quick. It's so simple. So simple. It's just a cup of oats, and you could use any oats. You could use steel cut oats. Well, if you have a Vitamix, you can use steel cut oats. You can use rolled oats. You could use quick oats. You could use oat flour. Basically, the oats are the flour in this recipe. And 1 banana. And a teaspoon of baking powder. I've got my Vitamix over here today. The baking powder is what makes your pancakes rise. These aren't super fluffy pancakes because of the density of the banana. And then we're going to add about a cup of water. I usually start with about a half a cup of water, and then I just increase up just to make sure I don't overdo it. Because if you add too much water, then you've got to add more oats and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to go with about a half a cup of water, and then we're going to blend this really quick and pour it on the griddle. Probably closer to 3/4 of a cup of water. And so with pancake batter, if you were to let this sit for about 10 minutes, it'll get really thick. You don't want your pancake batter too thick because you want it to cook through. You don't want your pancakes to be kind of raw in the middle, so you want it to cook through. So I've got one of these nonstick, I think it's a porcelain griddle, which I highly recommend. We got this, the griddle we had before was one of those Teflon nonstick griddles, and it started to kind of flake and lose its nonstick. So we tossed that, and we went to buy another one. This was all that they had at the local Fred Meyer where we went. So we got it, and I love it. It's great. It's like, I think it's, I don't know. It's nonstick, but it doesn't have that black coating on it. Anyway, it's really hot. I've got it at 420, which is the highest setting. I hope we don't set smoke detectors. So I'm going to go ahead and just pour my little pancakes here and let those get to cooking, and then we'll clean our blender, and I'm going to show you this mango sauce, which is the world's simplest thing and probably one of my favorite things to eat in the whole wide world because I love mangoes. This is a little thick. I should have probably done a little bit more water in there. I'm going to stop and just add a touch more water. Oops. So this recipe, you know, it makes about, depend on the size that you pour, 4 to 6 pancakes. I do kind of these little medium-sized guys because they're easier to flip that way. And I usually get between 4 and 6. You want to make sure you rinse your Vitamix right away so that you don't have a pain in the butt to clean later. But I want to rinse this because we're going to make our mango sauce right away. Actually, before I do that, I picked these fresh blueberries up. My local co-op had blueberries, which is a treat this time of year. So let's go ahead and make these blueberry pancakes. If you guys put frozen blueberries into your batter, they take longer to cook. So just keep that in mind because the frozen blueberries cools down your griddle. One of the things I'll show you with the Vitamix is when you're cleaning it, you can put a little bit of water like this in there and do, you know, a drop of dishwashing detergent and then put it back on and turn it on high. And that's just a quick way to really get it in there and clean it up really thoroughly. And then give it a quick rinse. Okay. Don't want to burn my pancakes. So if you're if you've ever made pancakes before, you know you want to wait till there's lots of little holes in there before you flip them. We've got lots of little holes going. I'm going to turn this down just a touch. And if you're like me, you're impatient, you've got to make sure they're not burning. And those are kind of burning on the back side. So I'm going to give them a flip. Let that one cook for another minute. Okay, mango sauce. So I have 2 mangoes today, and the thing with mangoes, they're just hit and miss. Sometimes they're amazing, sometimes they're not even edible. This one looks like it's going to be okay. I like to keep frozen mangoes. I'm just going to come over here really quick and cut this down. Oh, it's good. I like to keep frozen mangoes in my freezer so that if I want to make something with mangoes and the mangoes I bought are no good, then I can just whip those out. But these are going to be fine. Perfect, but at least they're not like all brown and gross on the inside. So you can see I just scored this and then I'm just turning it inside out. Can't really see what I'm doing. Well, I'm going to go over here to the side. And then you just take your knife and you scrape it into the blender. Sorry, you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm just scraping the mango into the blender. And we'll do the other side. So you're just scoring it and flipping it and scraping it. And then with this guy, you just want to, hang on just a second, I'm going to flip this little guy over. You just want to peel the skin like that. And then you can scrape the, I usually do this on a cutting board, but my griddle is taking up my space here, but that's okay. Try not to cut myself. So that's pretty good. I would usually do a little bit better job. And I've got 2 here that are ready to go. Let's cut into this one and see what we get. We've got 2 different types of mangoes. See, sometimes they get like brown down here at the bottom, but in this smoothie it'll be fine. This one is an Altufo mango, which are sometimes just a little bit creamier than those Kent mangoes. You guys, if you don't like mango, I would challenge you to try it again. The first time I ever had mango, I decided I didn't like mango. And then my girlfriend came home from the Peace Corps, and she ate a lot of mango while she was in Uruguay. Whoops. And she's like, "Oh, Pam, there's no way you can't like mangoes. Mangoes are the best. You just haven't had a good one yet." So she brought me some good mangoes that were in season and ripe and really good, and I've loved them ever since. They're my absolute favorite fruit. When they're bad, but when they're good, oh my gosh, you can't beat them. And if they're, excuse me, if the texture is a little off, you know, if they're nice and sweet and ripe, but the texture is a little off and they're kind of stringy, you can make a puree with them and they'll be fantastic. So that's it. Blend this. You don't even have to add, you might have to add a little water just for blendability. But you don't need to add water for this. It's just going to make a puree. It's as simple as that. I just realized these pancakes are kind of, one of the berries popped out. Woo. Woo. I'm popping the blueberries. Okay, so this is our mango sauce or mango syrup. This would make great baby food. But there's nothing creamier than this. Like if you ever tasted your child's baby food, like the peach or the apricot, and it was really creamy and you thought, oh, that's really good. That's what this is like, only it's just mangoes. There's nothing added to it. There's no thickeners or anything like that. It's just really good. All right, so let's put up. Are these done? I feel like they need to go a little bit longer. All right, so you could also add a little bit of maple syrup to this if you really like the flavor of maple syrup with your pancakes. Or you could just put maple syrup on the table with these pancakes, and you could put maple syrup on here as well. But this is a great option if you're trying to do sugar-free meals. Obviously, I didn't add any sugar to this. The banana sweetens the pancakes, and the mango is already naturally sweet. And I threw a few blueberries in there too as well. So I'm going to let these guys cook just a little bit longer. But I'm going to dig into these. I'll take a bite really quick. Just to let you know if they're edible. They're going to be hot though. Hang on just a second. I want to blow on it. Now, these are a cakey pancake, right? Because they're not light and fluffy like normal pancakes with eggs and all of that in there. They're more a dense pancake. They're cakey, like, I don't know, kind of like a brownie, I guess, which is why I really like them. They're kind of like eating dessert, like a bread pudding. So very good. All right, guys. Well, this concludes this week's Vitamix favorites. Next month, I'm kind of tossing around a couple of ideas. I'm either going to do my favorite Instant Pot recipes, I might do my favorite soups, or I might do my favorite juices in the juicer. One of those three. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.